What's up? I'm going to play this one back after to see if the voice is any different. The mic probably is picking up a lot of surround sound right now, which is totally fine. We're here to do a real quick one. These days, I feel like I'm forcing myself to record some live streams. Like I want to. However, I prefer I have other things that I like to do, and it's fighting against the time that I want to put into live stream. I don't know, it makes sense in my mind. Oh, let's share the screen. So it looks like the futures market is still moving. Interesting. Is it like a 24-hour thing now? Because tomorrow is Juneteenth, which is a national holiday. Market's closed. So that's interesting why prices are still moving. Just like some top level bullet points here that I'd like to cover. I really do hope we get done by 11 p.m. It's currently 10:30. So the last video was 4 days ago, the last live stream. And I was highlighting certain execution issues, meaning had we put the amount that I wanted to on one side and followed through on the thesis, then we'd be up a lot, whereas we were actually down money. Update since then, we were able to follow through and actually make money on those positions. So that was great. I won't walk through exactly what the thought process was because it's all on Discord. And it's better suited for that versus kind of on the fly explanation, because there was like 3 or 4 different contributions to that. It was watching the chart. It was fighting against the resistance of fear to lose money, and then it was also fighting against the fear of missing out, which is two sides of the same coin, and trying to find a balance there. So we ended up, long story short, I ended up opening a bigger position with size on this area, which I'm actually quite proud of grabbing. It reminded me exactly. It was a 1-to-1 of February 2nd Ethereum. So I'll show you what it looks like on Ethereum first, and then what it looks like on Zcash. So here, I mean, this is kind of following to a T also. This squiggly here, holy moly. It happened a little later, but basically on point here. We haven't hit down this area, but I imagine this is going to be the next leg down. Also this, I really wanted to highlight this. Screw the highlights, screw the top level bullet points. We're going to go and just like jump into this. My main thing is to like get through all the alerts and also kind of talk through the wins and losses over the week. So I'll just chatter for about a half hour. We have the voice recorder on, so the transcript will pick up any good nuggets that we got from this. I want to really highlight this chart here because holy shit, this is insane. It looks like we started it on Friday the 17th. And if you look at the alert, it was created on April 13th. So that would have been Monday. Right here, we created an alert for up here. And I believe what we did at that time, we can I want to go back to that stream and see what I was thinking. But really, I was targeting this area because of, I think I must have deleted the Fibonacci sequences, but that's typically what I use to draw these lines out. And we had these two areas being the resistances, and then we drew out kind of a pattern here. That's what I believe happened, because we know for a fact the alert happened on April 13th, which was down here. And we also know that this drawing started on the 17th. I wouldn't draw back here if we were already here. And we also missed the mark on this one. It was like pretty close. I thought it was going to scoop up and then come back down. But anyways, this is scary how good it is, how like accurate it's been. And so what I imagined was going to do was kind of overshoot and then come down and then overshoot and come down. Like even if I just adjusted this lower, then it's actually perfect, right? It didn't overshoot at all. The lines that were drawn, the length of the lines are actually exactly proportional to what happened, which is scary. Scary good. So it comes up into here and then rides it back down to the resistance to try to break support one more time. It pulls back. There was like a bigger pullback, but it ultimately hits our target, like to the penny, to the dollar, and then completely rejects that. And it comes down in a way in a zigzag motion that resembles this area. And this was the place where I thought it was going to double bottom, or not double bottom, but like tag twice, until it finally finds its bottom down here at 44, right? So we put, I don't know if this actually stop loss is real, so I'll reassess at that point. I believe that this might actually be a buying opportunity. If you look at how this line works, it is like an accumulation pattern over here, more so than a head and shoulders, right? Like a head and shoulders would look like this: head and then shoulder. I don't think that happens. I think it actually finds support down here, and then, you know, free money. 10K into calls here for 6 to 9 months might get you 6x. So I like YOU, which is Clear Secure, the company, and they're actually doing well fundamentally as well. I kind of called it out exactly on this day. I saw it a day before, but then it hit my radar for real when it pumped past all this resistance. And then that was back in February, and it went up 40% from there. It's still only up 15%. So this is like a good long-term play, in my opinion. It's kind of done this over and over and over again. So without further ado, I'm going to go and see if we can find out whether or not that is true. We're going to go back to April 14th. One note on Meta. This was a very interesting one. We were able to buy puts, which is shorting Meta. I believe it was Monday. It was up here for sure. So this move, this almost 6% move, yielded a 6x on the puts, and they did extremely well for us, which is really great because we ended up tossing a lot of money back into the market. We made so much on hype. We made so much on these puts, and we made a lot on shorting XOXL. But you know, we gave a lot of that back. So the game is to always make money, so you got to be happy on that. We did super well, even on the Zcash short, which we're going to get into next. So that did very well on the crypto side. We did extremely well on the stock side, and then gave like basically more than half of it back just in one day, which, whew, that's pretty stressful. Like this is very fun and enjoyable, but is it really valuable? It's just fun. It's like entertainment. I don't know. Maybe I'd rather play games. Like invest, leave it there, or invest long term, and then just, you know, use my time where learn a skill or something. Learn French. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the exact date. If it was 2 months ago, April 3rd. So Green Monday. Maybe it's Green Monday. Yeah, like a good day too. Look at the hair. The hair was super long at that time. What do you think, Iman? This or that? I'll give you the profile too. Yeah, here's the profile. Yeah. This definitely is more streamlined. I can wake up in the morning and get it done quicker, and it's not in my face as much, less oily. Guess I think this short look is makes me feel a little younger in the mirror, whereas this is more mature look. Anyways, ooh, you viewed this video 6 times. That's cool. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even. There was no share screen. All right, this one here. Hopefully, this. Yes. Oh wow, that actually might have been the day that I charted YOU. That's crazy. But let's see. See if we can take a look at where that was, because I'm extremely curious. What I actually did. Actually, we did it on the 13th, right? So if I had done it, then see it. That was the hair. That was the hair. Kind of cool. It's kind of like I have a mop on my head. April 9th. Dang. So it was literally Green Monday, huh? That's so sucky. That was like perfect precision drawing too. I want to know. I want to confirm that that was the case and it's not like retroactive. Green Monday was literally the 13th. Oh Lord. Crap. It wasn't meant to be. I am a bit. I'm a bit dissatisfied with this. I mean, whatever. We're moving on. We'll just assume that I had magic here. This looks insane, crazy. Just wow, what a drawing, right? So if it's gonna follow through again, it means this is resistance. We're in a downtrend now. We're gonna trend down here, which is perfect. Realistically, I could probably buy some puts on here because it's very low IV, and then see the down 10%. And I might. So it's like 22 days. Maybe I'll give it a little more time, like 4 weeks, in order to hit my target here. Yeah, it's possible. I'm gonna let's write that down in the notes. Why not? Let's put it to the test. What good is charting if you're not gonna be able to play? If it's a game, then you gotta be involved. In order to result in the fruits of your labor. Looking to buy 30% IV puts on YOU. For 6 weeks. How about that? Okay, yeah, super impressed with this. This is future telling. It's pretty awesome. I really wanted to throw the whole wallet at this at 45, but I didn't. I probably would have ended up getting the 23% here. There are bigger fish, especially during this period of March until now. So not really worried. I'm happy to get the next leg up. That like buying in down here would be the same as buying in down here, right? Into this leg. This doubled. You see, like the pattern is basically the same. When you chart, you want to look at different regimes, right? So let me highlight some of the regimes here, like what I mean by regime. They can last as little as hours. It can last as much as months, right? So depending on the asset. So for example, after this down move, we're looking at this crabby regime here. This accumulation is the regime. And then you had this other move, which was it was an uptrend. After uptrend finished, you had this secondary regime, which was like this whipsaw, this crabby whipsaw. And realistically, all you had to do is buy in this area, right? And where's the support there? Previous resistance. Like this needs to be marked out right there. So anytime it's below this line, it's value. And that's pretty obvious in hindsight, right? So that was a regime. Now you had this huge up move. This is a gap, by the way. This is earnings. It's an earnings gap. So it got re-rated. And now I don't think it's ever going to touch below this area. That would be fundamentally bad for this company if it gets below this area, because everyone who invested here would be underwater. So if it's big players and it's really fundamentally sound, we're going to keep the prices above $42. That's kind of how it works. So where are we now? There's no price that seems safe, right? Because we're actually here and it erases all this area. My bad. It erases all of this area here. So this place is still kind of testing. The price is still being tested. The reason why I say this regime similar to this regime is because, I mean, you can kind of see the pattern. There's an uptrend, then a crash. You can definitely call this a crash. And then a retest, reject, retest, reject, right? So what we're seeing here is post this regime change at the earnings, you're seeing an uptrend and then a crash. And then there's going to be some sort of probably accumulation into this area again, and another drop, and then a third try, and then finally up, right? This looks very reasonable. And I actually like that. I'm going to draw that out, right? This actually happens to follow this line here. So, you know, what I would want to do is do an alternative move, which would be something like this, maybe. Something like that, maybe. And I like that. This would be the pivot that we're all staring at. Let's say we completely missed the move, and like this whole regime is playing out, and it's here now. Well, I would want to see what the decision is. This has a higher likelihood, I think, just because of what we've seen in the past. A lot of accumulation between the previous high area. So this was local highs, which was served as a blocker for quite some time, right? We're looking at August all the way to February. That's a long time. That's like 5+ months. Now, where's the previous high now? Well, I guess what we're looking at is if it's going to drop down here, then the previous high is here. So it's possible what we're seeing is it would look like this, right? Maybe something like that, kind of testing this high point. And this would be a perfect scalp material, right? You kind of push double digits either way several times, finally into the breakout. And what really causes, I'm really starting to understand what causes these type of movements is because market makers, they want to keep a price locked in a range so that they can eat. The way that market makers, their lunch is basically the fees that they take for keeping the market stable. So things don't go too high too fast or low too quickly. And so during this period, you have it's also market psychology too, right? A lot of people are buying at the top, so when it comes down, you have a lot of people selling at the bottom, and that naturally moves the liquidity from short-term buyers to long-term buyers. For this whole 9 months, what we're looking at, right? It's going to be sideways movement. So a lot of people who are not kind of long-term buyers here are going to end up falling through. Now you end up catching it at this third breakout, and you don't know where it's going to go. It can really go anywhere, like boosted by an earnings catalyst or something. So, anyways, extensively covered this one because this was super cool. I randomly we received an alert. I clicked it and it was like, what the? This chart is, the arrows are pointing the prediction, right? Like if we're going to replay this, let's say we were here at least, right? There. Like if we were here, I'm not going to draw this line, like it would probably be most like, I only really, let's say we were doing, we did on the 13th. There. This makes a lot of sense to me. Like I would draw it like this because I'm seeing it form and I'm bullish on it. So what are the different areas that we can break through? It would be something like this. And let's just kind of watch art play out because this is pretty awesome. Ding, 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 ding. Pop. All right, resistance, reject, came down to it and pop back up. Oh, resistance, and then it pop. Oh, nope. Okay, it's breaking out. Oh, looks like it's gonna break out. Boom. Nope, it does not break out. But yeah, it actually literally does not break out. So at that point, if you're at this point right here, like you can feel the emotions as the replay is happening, because like this happens all the time. I almost like close my Zcash short literally at this moment because it's heart-wrenching, like whatever's happening here, it looks like it's going to go up forever. Because it's so bullish. You got the uptrend going. And so this serves as a reminder. Having these drawings out actually serves as a reminder to take your profits and be able to buy lower or even potentially hedge or short, right? Yeah, this ended up working out very well for a short because of this one candle. This was probably like a 5x on a put. And if you previously made if you put 60K in and you made 40, and you would have lost 10 back right here in one candle. So very interesting from a trader's perspective how it goes. And these predictions actually kind of serve well. And these lines, right? You're seeing, I think it's going to actually continue this downtrend because you see this yellow line here. It's serving as this resistance marker. And sure, we can break back up. It's just an imaginary line. And this is a strong stock historically. But we have this downtrend that's forming. And this target down here is very realistic. So remember about this line and this resistance, because I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind. We have to draw these lines in and treat them long because these lines are respected. And if you're able to trade on them to make accurate decision making, then you can make big percentages. And once you get really good at it, you start putting big money into it, and those percentages end up becoming compounded. But yeah, what I wanted to show the stream here is where should I open it? Here, probably. No, it's not this one. Is it this one? No, it is the iPad one. I was staring at the iPad. This iPad really helped me out this time around because it actually looked exactly like Here it is. It looked exactly like the Ethereum that I was following. Oh, they're both on the iPad. Okay, how do we do this? We'll just do one screenshot and do the other. Here, we always draw lines. We love drawing lines. So I thought maybe we were gonna find resistance here and then come down. But and I think this is still relevant. It probably doesn't go down to 140s, it goes higher. Like I said, like the length is always good. It's just the timing is what is unpredictable. I guess for like my skill set. But yeah, the reason why I drew the lines like this is because I believe that this was weak enough for it to just splat, right? I have a hunch on why we ended up pushing into this resistance zone like very heavily, because liquidity is the most important thing in any asset, especially in crypto, because it's a scam, and market makers don't give a shit. They'll just take your money. So what this did, and I'll pull this up on the liquidation heat map, part of the rainbow trends. But it did this because there was too many people short and there were no sellers, so it was able to freely just kind of jump into the next resistance area, which is like so high. If it was anything, if it was a Bitcoin, for example, and it was as bearish as we're seeing it be right now, which is like proving how bearish it is, it would probably end up here and then splat exactly how my drawing was, or here and then splat, because we're looking at this area here, right? This, and then this, and then another splat moment would probably be here, and then definitely here, right? But we didn't. So that means, holy shit, a lot of people got carried out. And we'll see that on the liquidation map later. But really, I'm even more confident that we're going to hit these targets, because we've now gotten rid of all of the bearish people, right? So if we're looking at it like this, wow, interesting, huh? This is top to bottom, like basically to the penny. That's surreal. I didn't draw it, but like I said, the length always basically on point, but the timing's a little off, right? So I actually wanted a little lower, but like technically here, right? Wow, it's actually a 1-to-1. Length and timing was perfect on this. Do we bounce up into this area? Maybe because it's a holiday and there's no volume and there's people who are thirsty to short. But yeah, I would probably take more shorts up here. If I can get this alert going, I'll hit it heavy, because I've closed like 60%. Yeah, I've closed like 70% of the position already. So I would love to short it again here. And I'm very confident that it does that. And yeah, this is a little sus. But if I was to map it out and we're coming down from here, it'd be something like that. Something like that. So there'll be a couple of pops in between. But ultimately, we're looking at a low of this area. Yeah, this is like perfect drawing, to be honest. In the 200s again, like retrace the entire move from 200. Yeah, the only reason why the ball bounced so high was because it came down so low, right? If it had only come down here, then it would probably only make it up here. That's how liquidity works. Yeah, pretty amazing. Like even with this drawing here, it was a perfect 1-to-1. It was drawn out for some other place. Now it's just time to take action and be able to benefit off of my gifts, right? Yeah, we're looking at a bounce here. Hopefully the bounce can complete so we can get some shorts here. We said we was going short here. So let's short up there if it gets there. So, okay. Now, again, why was I so confident that this was going to go down? Well, because I saw this happen. When we made it into this area, like this line was drawn a long time ago. Let's see when we drew it, because it usually starts somewhere. Oh, I drew it at some point, but it was not the last week or so. It was a while ago. Yeah, so what had happened was I saw it kind of bouncing into and respecting this box area very heavily, right? Like this is basically liquidation scam candles, you call them, right? They're forced liquidations, and it just keeps pushing until like all buyers give up. And you just kind of have to hold on. I even put more cash into the account so we didn't get liquidated. But this, like at this point, I decided to short big, huge. No, I decided to start shorting here, and then once this candle happened, I knew it was a downtrend, and I went big, and then it started to happen. And I happened to be away for this, so I woke up in the morning, closed a bunch of shorts in profit, but I was super busy. I didn't have my phone on me for the entire day, and this might have actually taken me out, to be honest, to see such strength in the market. I might have closed my shorts. We're still currently in a bunch of it, but this here, it is scary because it looks like it doesn't look like a downtrend. It looks like a three tap pattern that goes reversal, right? And our net short was here. So anything above this green line, we were actually losing money. Whereas like down here, we were up like $12,000, $15,000, something like that. So we had already taken some profit. Up here, we had given half back. And if I'm staring at the computer and I'm watching this happen, like this is per 15 minutes, right? So all I have to do is like withstand an hour. But I may have like took this as a blessing and sold the rest of them. So it's kind of a blessing that I didn't have my phone device on me, and I can see this and 2020, the experience, and also kind of like experience it without experiencing it, because I'm conscious of what I would be thinking at the moment when these things are happening and what I potentially would do. So a huge learning experience over here. And I think what I'd like to get better at is not thinking, oh, wow, I'm scared that we're going to lose money. It should probably be closing the position when you're up big, waiting for the bounce into an area where you're comfortable with shorting big again. And so if my mindset here was like, oh, yeah, easily, we're here into this zone, I'm going to place my bets now and reload on these shorts. Hopefully it goes our way. And if it doesn't, if it does something like this instead, right, then we can cut our losses maybe like here or something, right? Because at this point, if it breaks past this previous resistance zone, we can get the hell out, or else, we already sat through a very dangerous $30,000 downturn on this move, a move similar to this. So this realistically can happen, but you're placing your bet at a point where something that's more likely to happen is like that, right? Right, something more like that is likely to happen. That's how I would have drawn it out. But if it happens to crash that quickly, you can bet your bottom dollar it's a downtrend, and that's why I wasn't afraid after hours, and that's why I'm still not currently afraid. So it does this. It's kind of like following this downtrend pattern. We haven't broken the regime. Same regime, downtrend regime. Boom. It very quickly retraces whatever this push is. And it's kind of following this. Boom. All right. Now we're breaking through previous resistance, like other support lines. Can't get above the support line. It's a wrap. Like, I dare you to get above the support. Is it happening? Oh, it's trying. Nope, it's still like, I don't know what. Did I just draw this green one? I may have just drawn this green line in. I have no idea. But it's extremely powerful. This one seems to be extremely powerful too. Where are we drawing this in from? Honestly, they're really good. Yeah, all these downtrend lines are being respected. All supports are flipping into resistance. So I'm not even mad. If we can get up to here, then I guess we buy it. But I actually am not sure that that's going to happen here. Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe. But yeah, it's this is one of those scenarios where I drew this out. It completely surpassed my expectation. That's what you want to see, right? When you see, that's what keeps you in that short. So if this was my target and I'm watching, I go, that's it. I'm out. I win, right? I got my 6% here on a big position. I win. I'm out. But if it cuts through in convincing fashion like this, you can basically keep. You should still take profits, but you can keep your position on the table. Like, you take profits here, let's say it comes down and then it starts to bounce back up. You take some profits here, and then you could just basically watch it roll over and ignore what you did up here. Right? This is the thing of beauty. So I actually don't think it gets up to here. Probably gets to here, honestly, which is not too far up. But I would. I cannot copy and paste it. But I would short again here. Yeah. Maybe I'll swap these because that one has writing to it. But this here, I will probably add to my short here and then heavily get into it, see what happens at this here. Because then if it actually breaks out of this, it means we're out of this downtrend area. You know, this is the regime. If the regime changes, then you have to kind of adjust accordingly. Ultimate lows for Zcash, if it's going to be at 200, then next month, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. We'll see. Maybe closer to like August, towards the end of September or something, where we get a resurgence of Zcash. All right, great. So we got through all those. It's been a half hour. It's more than a half hour now. It's 11 p.m. I really did want to look through the alerts, which we'll do. We will do that. But to wrap this up, like, now you remember everything that you saw on the Zcash chart, right? Here's what I saw. Here's what I recognized from the Ethereum chart that got me the conviction to do what I got to do. Are you starting to see it? Oh my gosh. We got to turn off these indicators. This is wild. Okay. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? There's a line, and there's a line being respected. I believe at that point we were at the 2000. It was after this dumperoonie. It was actually during this dumperoonie. I remember it was in February 2nd, right here. Yep. Scarred me for life. Scarred the memory into my brain. It was this area right here. So very similar, right? What you're seeing, there was a complete breakdown on Ethereum. Huge coin, very well respected coin, has the number 2 coin in the crypto world, worth tons, hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Just completely crap the bed. Not dissimilar to Zcash. Zcash was a top 10 coin just several months ago, right? So also worth billions and billions of dollars. Also doing this. Now, after doing this, what's the mechanic here? Well, there's a bounce, a mechanical bounce, and then now we're building a resistance zone. And during this resistance zone is where I noticed, all right, y'all. This here, like I completely got smashed. This was during, like, this was happening while we were on a monthly meeting. I was just watching like tens of thousands of dollars get evaporated. But this was a telltale sign. I remember going to sleep here. Yeah, this is like in the AM and going, yeah, it's probably not good to keep these positions open. But at that time, it was like I had just made like 50K or something on this bounce. So I actually didn't think we were going to go much lower. I thought we were going to break out of this one. But yeah, this really held the resistance well. Crapped the bed, popped up, which is also on a downtrend, not worth buying. Comes down, comes down, comes down, comes down. So I recognize this zone right here on Zcash, and this is exactly where we are. You see how high it pops? It pops 10% from there. So this could be something worth watching, and I'm going to draw a fractal off of it. Because it's still a downtrend, yes, but that move is huge. All right, we can always learn something. I think that's the moral of this story today. You can always learn something. And our beloved hype is sitting firmly in the 6-7 position. Here we got Zcash. Taking a look at Zcash again and draw out this fractal. Boom. And we're gonna have to fit it. This is a custom fit for the downtrend. So, like, I mean, where's this supposed to go? Probably like that. Yeah, we're looking at this area. I think it was more so this, but let's see what fits. Whoa, look at that. Maybe it's this. So, like, this here is dangerous, right? What happens if we come straight back into this 500s? That would be insane, right? And it's not impossible. That means we would have to stop out. We would have to close the shorts that we add to here. Hey, I'm open to that. That means we can come in, we can get into the 300 zones. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Roll over into the end of the month. Fine. I'll keep this fractal. Front row. What is happening? And I get to watch it on the iPad chart. Why not? Save. I don't need that. I'll just click save. Is it saved? I guess it's saved. Okay, great. So that's that. That was very helpful. And you know, it's funny. We have that same line. Oh wait, it's not the same one. This is a different one. Maybe at this point we can shrink it to here. It would be more like that demand zone. This ain't happening. We're not going up to 1900 at this point. Not on Ethereum. And you see this? That was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Get rid of these silly lines that are irrelevant at this point. But yeah, we want to see where the supply zone is. And these are on top. These are tops, right? So here we would probably want to see what the bottoms look like on a downtrend. And this is very much what you're looking at. Maybe even this here. Yeah, this looks stronger. It touches a lot more in very relevant timetables. Yeah, maybe we hit a 1900. I don't know. I don't see it, but anything can happen, like with that Zcash chart. But we will be watching. I think that's the important thing is we will be watching. All right. We have some alerts, not too crazy amount, right? We were streaming 4 days ago, so yeah, we're looking at just some. Let's see if there's anything that's relevant. SPX. Oh, okay. I would like to short some SPX on an alert. That's Confluence. If a mind trader's talking about it, it's relevant. Let's see where we're at. Look at all these lines. Holy moly. Okay. We got ourselves here short sell below. And yeah, I could delete this one. That's fine. We kind of held above it. That's interesting. 75 on the dot. But I love seeing this. Look how juicy this move is. This would be a game changer. You put like 50K up or something and you get it the right timing. You could turn that into $1 million. It's a lot of risk, but you got to get the timing right too. So stop loss. Buy now if price failed to move. Yeah, this is an old one. This is definitely an old one because we've moved heavily since April. Let's go and delete these. We have a clean chart now. And yeah, I like it. I like this. Keep that on there. Microsoft's an interesting one. Yeah, it's kind of tapping into this area. I like this a lot too. Time to buy Microsoft maybe. How can like Microsoft be down and then the market is up? So when the market comes down, Microsoft is also gonna have to bite the bullet on that, no? $1 trillion company. It looks like a head and shoulders forming. If it ends up being the head and shoulders, it's gonna be very nasty. It clearly cracked this line and it did not do this, so that's discouraging for Microsoft. But if we're looking at this area here, maybe there's still hope if this happens. Yeah, we have to get above this weird diagonal line thing to get through this Pikachu pattern. Is there anything else? Bottom fishing, huh? Dang, silver. I have some money on silver. Thought that it was going to go well for us here, but I might have to close some position. But bottom, heavy buy volume on this candle. All right, let's see what happened at this candle. Yeah, it only barely touches like this. You can erase. Anything below here, anything above here is overpriced. That's what that means. Yeah, not trying to buy any silver at this moment. Don't really care because it doesn't move much anyways. Even like it goes up, it doesn't go up much. So you put heavy volume on there and you can put your money somewhere else on a short-term trade. Yeah. Wow. Crypto's looking demolished. All of crypto stuff is looking bad. How's Coinbase going? Never hit that target. So at this point, I thought that we might actually end up going to this target. So I guess it was here somewhere. Nope, that didn't happen. But it did kind of follow this structure, right? That's strange. Yeah, like even to the pop, right? Comes up, pops up, down again. Let's refit this a little bit. Yeah, this is very eerily similar. Refit it a little bit better, like that. There. So is this a bottom to Coinbase? That'd be nice. That'd be cool if that's the case. Because if it breaks this line, it's gonna be reckoning. And look at what it does. Look at the cycles. Up, take all your money. Down, take all your money. Up, take all your money. Down. It's just, and now we're on that down portion of it. It's really possible. All right, let's see this on, let's visualize it on a different type of chart. Do we have any white candles? That's important to see. We did. White candle appear. A couple of white candles appeared. Each time we kind of see that, granted, this is a 3 staircase. How long did this take to resolve? A month and a half. And then, blam, 3x over the course of 3 months. So 5 months total. So we have this area here and a double bottom, which is nice. If we can get a 3-month movement, 3 months into here, that would be nice. Yeah, I could totally mess with that. That's like if we were trying to fit this, right? Nope, completely broke down. Completely broke down here too. 3rd time's a charm, maybe. That would bring us, 3 months and 3x. Holy moly. Let's see how that goes. And we just shift this up over here. Now we have a double bottom. And then something like that maybe. There, everything looks good now, huh? We got that second target. Sure, we got stopped out, but you can always get back in here. Yeah, so I'm going to delete the stop loss, but I like keeping the 194, which is still a long time away. That's 20%. That's pretty incredible. So I want to catch it beforehand. 3 months. I like that. Coin, 94 days to 3x. Maybe if it's incredible for crypto, but doubt it. Like, all of this makes sense, but you just saw me shift a bunch of the stuff to the right because it didn't pan out. And many times it's not going to pan out. So the best way to get confirmation is if fundamentally things are going well. Like crypto has a couple of wins back to back and everything's kind of moving. Bitcoin and altcoins are moving. Then you kind of hit the big players here. Some sort of fundamental catalyst. And why not? Why can't this happen? It's already happened 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and then why not 4 time, right? What's another one? MicroStrategy is looking like crap. Coinbase is looking like crap. Hood is looking actually pretty good. Yeah, I prefer a Hood over a Coinbase anyways, but this is actually super nice. I like this. I wish I sold some actually a day or 2 ago, but this is clean. Robinhood's clearly the winner of this entire Gen Z post-COVID era. Like, let's just take a look at the chart itself, right? This is 22. This is 25. Yeah, clearly, right? It bottoms out down here, and it's just up like incredible amounts. Hood is the place to be, for real. Like, let's look at which regime we're in. We're pinking out, but it can just be pinks forever. It can ride pinks for like a year. Look at this. So we started here with this type of a parabola. Yeah, this is the parabola that broke. And after it broke, how do we do this? Let's start the parabola. That one's like way too far down, right? If we start at here and we get a proper parabola, like that. There. So This is where parabola broke. It actually stopped being pink. It's like, oh, it's not doing what it's supposed to do anymore. The volume just goes away. Just major sales. Now, like one can argue it was already kind of starting a downtrend, down 30%. But this is confirmation. Here you can basically short it to this area, which would be like the natural value area. Yeah, beautiful, right? I did buy some here down in the 60s, 70s, and the 60s. Really worth. It was really worth the buy, especially looking ahead. This was only in March. This is in April, so this is less than 2 months ago. This is 2 months ago. Yeah, this is an obvious place to buy. This is obviously the stock to go all in on if you were to. And we're kind of at a launching pad here. We don't see under 100 forever again, maybe. It's quite possible we never see 100 again. But we will retest this area. So if we were to come up over here and then just smack, maybe like that, maybe like that could happen. The reload into the push, and I would do that on this reload, buy a bunch of calls 6 months down the line, see how that pans out. I like that. That's cool. I guess it hit the target today. Robinhood. Yeah, this one right here. Nice. Love Hood. So Hood's like, think about it. Hood is actually doing well when crypto's doing bad, Coinbase is doing bad, MicroStrategy is doing bad. So it's gonna win. We'll look at Per. I like Per. I like Hood. Hood is bar none the best coin asset right now, in my opinion. And then we got Per over here that we're still parabola. And when we break the parabola is when I'm done. And maybe it happens up here, but I'm not done with it yet. We are firmly riding this parabola. And this is clean. We had pinks going into greens, back to pinks. Now we're back to turquoise, which is fine. Anything below here, absolute value. So this is no man's land. From $9 all the way to $7, a 20% move is no man's land for me. This didn't end up panning out, unfortunately, but I would have sold at 11 if we got it. I played Per very well, so I'm not mad whatsoever on any of this price action. I sold very well. I bought very well. And we're still in for, I think, 2,000 coins, I guess, shares. But yeah, so I don't know if it's going to bounce back this quickly, but maybe something here can happen closer to, yeah, the end of the summer, maybe. Something like that. There's earnings. Yeah, I like that. Popping into earnings, sure. Bottoming out before that. Because we are clearly going to break the parabola at some point. Where? Where is the question? The beginning of the month? It would be like at $10. I want to see it higher, right? Maybe something like that. That would be nice if it was like we hit a high, we go on a move, 30%, holy moly, that'd be amazing, and then kind of crack that parabola that way. Sure, I'm all open for that. I'll be watching, right? I'll be watching heavily. As soon as we hit 11, I'll start selling a whole bunch, so I'll just put this down here. Yeah, start selling. start taking profits, maybe even short hype. Yeah, like if we're bearish on per, then we're damn sure bearish on hype because it moves in accordance to the token. So we can win on both sides. We can win on both crypto and the stocks. I love that. I love the idea of that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't whatever. Let's just kind of leave it here, see what happens. It's gonna move quick. That's just how low cap coins move. What's our downside target potentially? We could take a look at a retracement or like even one of these things, even though we haven't fully built out a bottom yet. But yeah, this here, or a top rather, this would be a bottom target down here, 1-to-1. That's 7. I would probably want to start buying close to 7, something like that. Savvy individuals are not going to let it come down here if they really want to get some. Yeah, look at how this is just perfect mark out. I'm feeling like an autistic individual. I'm feeling like Rain Man, just drawing beautiful predictions. But yeah, we got here. We're now here for 1 whole hour. I got to get off this. I can do this all day. But I'm going to probably finish this tomorrow. I can't do it tomorrow. At some point, it's going to be a pretty slow weekend. So it's a holiday weekend. So we'll figure it. I like per, hype, coin, all of those. Like, you just have to follow a basket and then play it well. Did I end up creating those baskets of? Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna need to create a new sheet with stuff. There's a lot of things that we haven't touched. We need to this one. We need to list out all options you have. Yep. That's going to be very helpful. And I think that's like the no frills way. I don't have to like keep up with a million things. It's helpful if I read every single tweet of the person that I'm following that is helpful, but is it necessary? It's not necessary to do that because, well, time is valuable, right? So if you can accomplish 80% of what your full potential is at 20% of the time, that's what you want to do. And that's what we're doing with creating a new spreadsheet for ease of use and defined tools and assets and philosophy and procedure. That's what it needs to do. That's a task. All right. Anyways, stream out. Later, Iman. Whenever you see this, bye-bye now.